Warning: this video and all products mentioned in this episode are for consumption only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of reach of children and pets. In case of accidental ingestion or overconsumption, contact the Poison Center. Please consume responsibly. This is the OG Social Network Podcast. Time to relax, relate, and release. The OG Social Network Podcast promotes cultural, economic, and political conversations in the New York cannabis community and beyond. Excellent. Here we go. This is Papa Dukes of the OG Social Network Podcast. I want to thank everyone that is attending today and my sponsors, especially Proteus 420, New York City Cannabis Exchange, and Green Spectrums, who are sponsoring this segment of the show. I am totally excited about introducing this amazing young woman, Dr. Chanda Macias, who is one of the pioneers of the cannabis industry on a national level. I read her article on Forbes magazine, which was very informative, written by Javier Hasse, and it was featured January 6, 2025, so it's very new. You all really need to read it. And it's how Queen Zulu, Dr. Macias, lost her home, then built a cannabis empire and inspired Brittney Griner, who will be at the Women Grow Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C., December 17th and 18th, which I hope to be there. We're working on getting there, okay? Now, I got to tell you, first off, I think that the most inspiring people right now in our industry are the women who bring about the changes in advocacy and activism. How did you get into this?
Well, first of all, Papa Dukes, I have to say thank you for having me on the show. It is an honor to be here and a pleasure to connect with you. And I am excited about the Women Grow Leadership Summit, February 17th and 18th. I pray that you can come and join us there. But I actually started in the industry as a young, impressionable freshman at Howard University. And I was always interested in healthcare. And I had a couple of friends that were diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I really went and started to try to understand what cancer looked like. And in my studies, I learned about cannabis being able to treat the symptoms of cancer. And so that was my first exposure to what that really looked like as an advocate. And it was from a healthcare perspective. But what I soon realized is that even though cannabis can help for health, that it was used or weaponized to imprison and incarcerate a whole generation of young Black men to fill private prisons. And that's where my heart broke because I am an American. I pay my taxes. I love my country. And to see how a population was targeted for incarceration really woke me up to the realities of the life that I live, which is all of our freedoms are not given to us all. And we have to fight for them. So in, sharing my voice, I always start off with that I am a healthcare professional that is fighting towards legalization not only for an alternate form of medication that people can use, but literally for our freedom.
Well, from what I've read, I found that we're going through some very divided times right now. And the next 4 years are going to be very challenging for us as a people, not just in the cannabis industry, but across the board, through all institutions. What challenges as a Black woman in cannabis have you gone through, though? Have you overcome?
It's been tough. I remember when I first entered the industry and people started to recognize my accomplishments. I was invited to numerous meetings like in New York and all of the investor meetings. And it was interesting because I was in this one particular meeting and there were all white men and there was 6 women. Two women were staff. Two women were working the registration desk with the particular investment firm that was hosting that event. And then it was me and one other woman in the room that was actually participating. And when a gentleman walked up to me and said, you know, can you give me a glass of water? And I said, excuse me. I said, you know, I don't work here, but when you find a glass of water, bring me one too. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, they don't expect us to be there and to show up in that way, which has nothing to do with our talents or nothing to do with our skill sets. It has everything to do with our gender and our race. And it's just very oppressing to be treated as an exception to the rule versus being the equal entering the room. So it has been a very interesting lesson learned. I've had numerous occasions like this, and it just pierced the veil that I saw that were barriers to not only women's success, but colors of our skin that are barriers to our success. And that's when I started to vocalize what was going on in our cannabis community, which so many of us agree, but it's still a very oppressed network where some of us have opportunities and others don't.
Well, that's how capitalism is designed. So, I mean, I've read so much history on capitalism. I just see a repeat of it's not for the community, it's for oneself. And the accumulation of wealth for one as opposed to the community seems to be priority. So, I mean, what's your current role right now in the cannabis industry? How do you broaden your vision in the community?
But right now, I am in multiple states, either as an operator or investor, but also my flagship dispensary was in Washington, D.C. I started that venture back in 2012. So I've been in the industry for, well, I'm coined the first Black woman to have a medical cannabis license in the United States. And what that meant really for me is that I had an opportunity to show that I had the skills and the ability to help patients with their medical needs. And so National Holistic Healing Center is located in DuPont Circle, Washington, D.C. We were able to get all types of laws changed. So not only were able to see people in residents in Washington, D.C., but we can see them nationally and we can see them internationally. And that's the only market that can do that. And what's so good about that, even though we're medical, you can self-certify, meaning go in, sign the paper, and you get your instant cannabis card right there. So, in order for me to actually learn all the skill sets and the resources that I needed to be successful in the cannabis industry, I started to attend women grow meetings. And that was back in 2016, where I started to go to all the women grow meetings and learn about how to expand my business footprint, what opportunities were out there through just word of mouth. And then from that point, I decided to give back to my community through Women Grow, and I started hosting events for women in not only Washington, D.C., but Maryland. And then I helped with the legalization of the Ohio market. So those were very instrumental. And then in 2018, I was asked to be the chairwoman of the board, and in 2019 became the CEO. So when I think about, my responsibility as a cannabis operator, vertically in every aspect of it, but also I'm an advocate for women who need the resources, the opportunities to be able to really grow their own brand, their operations, and be a equitable part of the cannabis industry.
Man, I've definitely seen you're making moves. I find that the educational part of your background is very much needed in our community. So, but in New York, we find that we see a lot of performative actions going on. Like I've been going to these same events as well, where a majority are not us, because we are the community, we are uh, the consumers. We really we did 1 billion last year here, and we're looking to double that. So, how do you feel? How do you see the intersection of advocacy and business shaping the future of cannabis?
I think it's going to be driven by the consumer, and that's how it always was, driven. I think that the New York market has so many opportunities, but if you don't really understand how the demand is created and how different needs are met, then it's hard to really thrive, have a thriving, business model. So if I think about who actually helped make medical cannabis a thing today, like licensing and all that. And it was the consumers, it was the patients, it was the advocates, it was the users that actually said that cannabis has some type of value, that we're going to buy it illicitly. We're going to keep doing all these things until there is a legal market. And finally, the different states started to listen to that instead of just succumbing to the illegal nature of healthcare, let's legitimize it and make sure that, patient access, safe access, tested medication is available because it actually helps patients with their needs. And so that's how the businesses and the business licensing period derived. And then from there, the businesses started to push the government, and the people started to push the government towards different policies for legalization. And with that, that's the only way it's going to continue to move if we keep that demand from not only the patient perspective, but the business perspective to get the government to really understand the healthcare benefits of cannabis and to legitimize its use. So, with doing that, then we'll have a shot at legalization. But we can't legalize just overnight because there's been so many people that have been harmed by these policies that we have to actually go back and fix. And it's not only the black man that has been targeted, but I know mothers that gave their kids cannabis for epilepsy that served time. There were people who had epilepsy and were patients that use cannabis that serve time. Like, we have to go back and fix all these different wrongs in order to open up the market so that no more incarceration or any type of charges can be actually pushed on a patient that just wants an alternate form of healthcare.
How do you feel? What opportunities of growth of innovation, especially in healthcare, um, do you see in the next few years?
Hard to say because we're under a new government, direction where we thought that rescheduling was going to happen to a Schedule 3, which would have allowed for research capabilities to actually open up in the United States and abroad, because the US definitely leads an example and a model for other countries to follow. But unfortunately, those efforts have been killed off through no longer having that option under that new administration. So now we have to decide how, as a country, we're going to proceed. And that's truly up to the administration and the government who dictates to us what we're able to do. And as it appears now, it's leaning back towards not the healthcare benefits or the social justice benefits, but the economic gateway to have safe banking, which would allow more companies to have access to capital. But I just want to be very clear that when we say companies having access to capital, less than 3% of women owned businesses and less than that for minority owned businesses are getting capital from banks or even from private equity. So it doesn't necessarily serve our benefit for legislation to address safe banking unless it specifically has clauses in there for 280E tax code, which for business owners is crippling. And it doesn't allow us to be able to flourish at all because we pay more. If you have a dollar, you pay close to 80 cents on every dollar you make in taxes, and then you still have bills to pay, and you only have 20% left to do whatever. So it's just not, the model is just not feasible. And a lot of operators don't understand this until they're in the business, and then they get these ginormous tax bills, which then they're liable for personally. And if they have an LLC, because it passes through, or even their corporations.
You know, that's one of the main issues right now going on in New York that I hear from many of the retail dispensaries, farmers, and processors is the fact that they just don't have the same tax breaks as the other mainstream industries. And it's killing them. I mean, I had a talk with Sohan Bashar from Silk Road, great guy over there in Jamaica, Queens. He's making great sales and everything, but it's only because he built everything out himself, took no loans, and has a great dispensary and a good community that supports him. But not many other dispensaries are like that. Smack Village right now is going through opposite what Sohan is going through. They took loans from Dasney, which was like, ooh, and they had no room to negotiate or maneuver, and now they're stuck or in a very tight bind on their business. So, how do you? I tell them here, you know, you need to really come together, consolidate, unify, and and lobby. Each community to each region, then to the state. You know what I mean? Do you feel because there are many organizations out there that are lobbying and doing whatever, and it seems on one side it's the advocates and activists for people of color and advocacy. I mean, people of color and community, and on the other side, it's corporations. What is your view on that?
A lot of companies just don't have the money to pay for lobbyists. I'm an active participant, both federal and on the state level in terms of cannabis reform policy. And when you're paying taxes and you are a business and you can't afford for lobbying efforts, then it's left up to even the multi-state operators that are generating a significant amount of revenue to really participate in those efforts. Now, even though they're participating in those efforts, they're also driving their narrative, what they want to see done, because it's their checks that they're paying, but also they're not making money as well. I know that we can look at their, when we look at not only their profit or even their revenue, what you'll see is they owe millions in tax dollars. And so, you know, not paying taxes to use money towards lobbying, it's a real balance for the MSOs. And it's not an option for a lot of the small operators because it's just not financially feasible. So that's where we see a lot of our policy that's stalling. And the MSOs are really focusing on the federal level because if we can get a turn or some good policy implemented on that level, then it could trickle down to the state level. So versus, spending 50 states paying for 50 lobbyists, it doesn't make sense. Your only goal, way to go about this is at the national level. So it's really tough right now in terms of being heard and who's listening. And unless you have a lobbyist that is dialed into the party today, I think it's going to be some challenges in terms of being heard. But I do know lobbyists are getting those reaches within the administration. It's just what policy does the administration really want to implement at this point?
How do you envision the the contributing factors in a broader economy for through uh, the workforce?
The workforce initiatives is also challenges with that. Let me explain what that looks like. So, first of all, if you think about the workforce and a lot of the policies that are put in place, you have to have a background check if you're a minority. And if you were incarcerated by cannabis possession, you do not qualify for a lot of those positions. And so what it creates is that, again, opportunities for everyone except for those that were impacted by the war on drugs. Now, will there be an increase in workforce development? It definitely will, but without sensible policy, it might not be able to help the communities that it needs to reach. Also, but we know, like you said, New York is $1 billion industry. There's a lot of potential in there for economic growth. And also that means trickling down to more job opportunities. And I do believe that. But what actually drives both growth or economic opportunities is innovation. So, what markets are going to do different to actually drive that type of growth? Are they going to expand the licenses to consumption? Are they going to allow grocery stores to sell? Are they going to just keep it restricted to certain type of retailers? And all these things will have an impact on that growth margin. And unless you can find that innovation within your community or your state or your region, it's going to be really hard to grow a market that is so restrictive by advertisement, by any type of media reach, which is just not allowed, and also like a limited amount of education that's available for business owners, for patients that don't know the benefits of cannabis, but just hear that it's available, but not that it can actually help them with their different health conditions. So it's still a upward battle, but those are the things, the potential is definitely there. The right leadership will matter.
Ah, man, I wish you were over here. Oh man, we'd love to. I can't wait to meet you. I swear, because I have like so many interviews I've done over last year. We did this January 20th last year. I just said, let's do this. And I've met some really great people that are so passionate about what they can expect, what they expect from the plant, the community, government. What's your advice that you would give to aspiring entrepreneurs and advocates looking to make an impact in cannabis?
I think that they have to hold everything very close to the chest. And when I say that, do not spend to the extent that I see people capitalizing their businesses. And the reason why I said that, because with the taxation, there's no way a clear shot to profit until legalization happens. So, what you spoke of earlier is the simple fact that because we know that there's a lot of predatory lending out there. There's a lot of predators that are in, attorneys that are giving bad advice. Yes.
Any ancillary professional business that you need. I'll give you, but go ahead, please.
No, exactly. That's what's happening. And they're paying them and they're taking that from their bottom line and hoping that they can do something for them where literally they can't until policy is changed. And what's happening in that intersection of when policy will change is that they're losing their businesses. They're losing control. They're getting their debt converted into equity. So then the lender owns the company. It's just, ridiculous what we're seeing out there. But because we're dealing with new time business owners that don't understand operating agreements and how lending really works, that's just what the pitfall is. And that's why one of our discussions at the Women Grow Leadership Summit is about educating on the operating agreement. And until you understand the significance of the operating agreement as it pertains to finances, you are in a world of trouble because people are going to keep taking advantage of you. So when I think about Papa Duke's, like why I did the Women Grow Leadership Summit, because it's the only educational forum that can help us. I have not seen anyone come out and talk about the realities of the cannabis industry, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, and how to actually be able to operate, to market, and do R&D in this just small industry. And people are hearing secondhand information from people they do not know, and they're trusting the predators that came to take their businesses. And until someone educates them, they're going to be stuck. And so that's why it's so important for me to spread the word, come to the conference. And the next 2 weeks, we're going to offer scholarships. If you need to come, you need to come. And you know what that looks like, because if you're not educated, you are just going to lose everything.
Yeah, I mean there are current card holders that have had their licenses for at least a year already. They aren't a part of the injunction, that don't realize that there's their worth, the equity in what they have. And they're being met by so many people that will take advantage of them. I also, learned, that it really, to be a leader, and to be a great entrepreneur and a leader, you have to be able to have a great team. It's the team that makes your business a success. And I think any entrepreneur would appreciate that the people are the power. They're the ones. They're your wealth. If it wasn't for my team, right now, if they weren't on vacation, they would have figured out the sound. You know, shit like that.
Yeah,
You know,
it's true. The team matters, but I will tell you, I've had the best teams, but without the leadership, it does not matter. It always starts at the top. If you look at any government that we have, if you do not have a strong, educated, skilled leader to be able to enact the act of war in a sense of business, then you're in trouble, period. And that's where I mean, like, yes, it's important for you to have a team that can take direction and be your soldiers in your absence. but or even in your presence to go out there and fight the war for you. But if you don't have a clear direction, I think it's better just to be solo because he actually can do more harm and create more liability than they can good, which is a problem. So it's I think Papa Duke, what I'm saying is that you at the spearhead of your narrative is important because your team will be led by you. And so we need you in place to create this narrative and share it with our community because without you doing so, no one else will know about what's truly going on in our community. Your team will not know which direction to go into. And this is our only chance to make an impact and help those that have been disadvantaged not only in life through the war on drugs, but also the patients that just want to get access to medicine. That's literally it.
We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Tonight's the night you've been waiting for. A night out with your girls. Fluff the pillows, light the incense. You're the perfect host. Well, almost. See, that's why she's your best friend. Go, best friend. Exchange career advice. Exchange embarrassing college stories. Exchange the essentials. New York City Cannabis Exchange. Your night delivered.
Proteus 420 helps your cannabis business thrive with seamless inventory management, real-time sales tracking, and built-in compliance reporting. Stay stocked, stay compliant, and stay ahead. From payments to customer loyalty, every tool you'll need, all in one platform. Proteus 420, powering your success every step of the way. Wow. Well, I want to tell you, what's next for you and your work in the cannabis industry? Well, wait a minute. First off, what I really want to talk about is becoming Queen Zulu.
Oh, yeah.
Funny. That was, of course, before the COVID happened, of course, right? Because that's during
Yes, it was before COVID. So my family's originally from Louisiana, and I remember my grandmother getting up on Mardi Gras Day every year and going to the Zulu parade. And there's different crews down here, but Zulu was African American. It is an African American um, social aid and social and aid company, well, crew we call it, and it was really developed to help the community. And in that, I represent over 800 men that's a part of the community, and they selected me to be the queen in 2020. And it's such an honor here in New Orleans. Actually, I'm here right now. I had queen duty because this is Mardi Gras season, and the King Queen party was yesterday. So I made sure I represented my community well. But the idea of going into our communities as advocate for cannabis has always been a very hard narrative. It has made families that had two-parent incomes into a single mother. So it's hurt that, and then mothers seeing their kids get incarcerated, father breaking down the family dynamics. They have suffered, the Black community has suffered so hard by the illicit market and including Black on Black crimes. And so when you then have someone like me come into the space that says, let's legitimize it and let's work together, knowing that the government that instilled these different laws and policies are the ones that are actually hurting us, it's hard to convince them that this is an opportunity for our community. And that backlash is real. And the backlash is actually fair to believe that because it's what happened. And so, starting in my own backyard into the community I love so much, I had to really talk to them and educate them on what I was doing to be selected as queen. And you can imagine what the pushback looked like. And it was hard. It was very difficult conversations when someone saw their son getting killed over a drug transaction and of cannabis. I'm not even referring to other drugs. I'm talking about cannabis. And then here I am, like, oh, I stand for cannabis and healthcare and freeing our community. And they're like, but it killed my son. Like, it's hard, it's complicated. And at the end of the day, after having these real conversations and allowing that conversation act as a vehicle of healing for everyone involved, it was such a blessing for my community within Zulu to accept who I was and what I stood for. And they selected me, and I became queen despite the odds. And it was such a blessing. It still is, because when I hit the cover of Forbes and it says Queen Zulu,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they were like, "What? Zulu's on Forbes?"
And that's
And
great, great
last
press for
night,
them.
yeah, last night was so beautiful. They were like, "You did it! You did it! We had your back." And I'm like, it is so powerful to know that you did your community right. You elevated a historically Black college and university doing so. And this is all God's work. So for me, being queen of, I say New Orleans because we're just so prominent here. It has been one of the most fascinating and biggest honors in my life. And I wear that title with all respect and dignity, representing the men in New Orleans and our legacy in helping our community.
Yeah, that I got to tell you, we do want to give a shout out to Javier Hase,
Yes.
Haas or Hase, from Forbes. He was a senior contributor on that article, and I'll definitely put a link in for for the show because I thought that I read it twice, so just to make sure, and I'm like, wow, I just see your journey is just going to be, it's going to leave it's a legacy that's going to leave an impact. People going to know. I mean, what's your next? What's next for you? I mean, in the cannabis industry, and what goals do you have? What dreams? What dreams do you have? Are you going to be chasing?
Oh, I'm chasing the dream of legalization. I am, that is what I'm chasing. And sensible legalization. And I will tell you, someone asked me, how do you define success? And I said, some people will say about how much money you make, and other people like me will say it's based upon how many lives that I can save. And so, lives that I can save through healthcare means, lives that I can save by preventing incarceration, like all of it. And so for me, my future actions are definitely driven by not only pushing our narrative through Women Grow and helping everyone get educated, whether it is the patient, advocate, or the business owner, and creating opportunities for people in our community for career development, which we have a very serious track on career development, business development. Before our advocates, our patients, we have cooking with cannabis track, and they're going to be able to learn by live demonstrations on how to cook with cannabis.
I do want you to elaborate on that on the summit. The Brittney Griner is going to be there. Ricky Williams.
Yes, Brittney Griner, our beacon of hope. Like, when I decided that who could be our keynote, I just wanted someone that came from a place of adversity that could show us a place of glory. And damn, Brittney Griner is all of that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how did she go from one place to winning the gold Olympic medal yet again, going to the championships? Like all the things that she had to endure along her um, journey to wellness and to, achieving all her dreams. It's something to speak of, resilience. And I'm really excited that we were able to educate her on our community, to not convince her, but for her to decide that she was ready to have her voice in our community and inspire us by sharing her story. And even now, she has not stopped. She's currently in Miami doing the Unrivaled Basketball League, the 3-on-3. And she's going to take a quick break from that and come up to the Leadership Summit and, support us. And I am so grateful. And not only has she served as that beacon of hope for us, I think that when Ricky Williams, he was a Heisman Trophy recipient, and they've taken the trophy from him because of his cannabis usage, and then they gave it back to him. And he's been through a journey as well, a journey of healing. And being a former NFL player, you endure a lot to your body, to your mind, to your spirit. And he always connected with cannabis as being that solution to some of his issues, his healthcare issues. And he's talking to us also in solidarity with Brittney Griner to back her up about his healing journey with cannabis. So I am so proud of both of them coming to the forefront, sharing their stories, being a part of our community and out of the cannabis closet. I think we all know that certain athletes use cannabis, but talking on it and sharing that story is a whole nother level, which they don't have to do. They're not entitled to share their private life with us. I'm just honored that they will share their journey with us and that maybe we will be able to find some type of inspiration to continue on to win our goal, to
Well,
win our unrivaled league.
I can't wait to really get down there and be a part of that. The one thing that we need are more forums, more summits like this. I went to NECANN in Jersey, Atlantic City. I saw Ricky Williams there, I believe. And went to MJ Biz and felt it was way overwhelming.
Mm.
It was a great experience. It's the first time I'd ever been to Las Vegas ever. So, but it was like, wow, I don't know where to go. It was just really overwhelming. But there were some great speakers but all I saw were white people.
Mm.
We had one area that I felt the social equity impacted legacy area, and I'm just like, wow, this should really be half the freaking hall,
Offers, yeah.
but it was just a very small segment. But again, they did an amazing job, as did On the Revel. We got to see a lot of great minority businesses that way as well. I tend to, though, as a Gen Xer, I'm like, look, really, y'all need to get rid of the board. We know who we're fighting against. It's an ideology that just needs to be wiped out. We need to clear the borders, clear the gender, sexuality, all of that. and really focus on the content of the person's character, their commitment, their merits. That's my feeling, because I've met so many people, and we all got assholes in this group.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So
I think like that's why I said leadership is everything, and that leadership is reflective of what success or how you define success or how you actually navigate your own life. And you brought up on the Rebel, like Jacoby and Lulu have been in the New York market since the beginning, even before legalization. They actually were on the forefront of driving legalization in New York. So you understand their passion and their purpose. They're authentic, they're real. And so when they have events that are really focused on the buyers or the buyers club or on advocacy, it comes from a place of love, consideration, community, where other places you might not feel the same type of energy surrounding the event. It has a different purpose, it has a different goal. So I think that you can do good and still generate revenue. But also, I think it needs to be done in an equitable way. And even though some of the conferences are definitely target for different audiences, doesn't mean that it can't be done in an equitable way. So finding that balance versus being, some people say, I don't want to be a token. I don't want a section. I want to be integrated and treated as equal with everyone else. And in doing so, again, leadership is the key. There are plenty of programs, and if you look at the diversity of women growth lined up on our website, womengrow.com, you will see on our social media, Instagram, we are just women and men who support us that are speaking at the conference. And the conference is not about gender, it's about education. So this still is an open invitation for men to participate. And they know that with women actually putting on a conference like this, that it's going to be dynamic. They know it's going to include all the things that they need for their success. And so the invitation is for all that believe in our platform, all that want to be educated, all that want to develop and be part of our community, because I will tell you, I am holding all ticket holders will be a part of the Mardi Gras celebration that evening. If you're coming, the reception is open to you. And the first hour, we will have all things Mardi Gras, which are our jambalaya, gumbo, king cake. I'm doing active beignet stations, hurricanes for everybody, Mardi Gras beads in the second line. I mean, we're going to enjoy our community because we work hard. We have given up certain liberties. We have suffered through all the consequences, but it's time for us to bond and enjoy a little bit of the fruits of our labor. And that's what we're going to do for our Mardi Gras celebration on the 17th that evening. Everyone, again, is welcome. If you have a ticket, all you have to do is show up. If you need a scholarship, all you have to do is reach out. I am opening this up for us because we need somewhere to go to get nurture.
That's beautiful. And again, it's on the 17th, right?
Yes, 17th of February. So we have about 2 weeks. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it's 2 weeks to the day. And so excited. And more announcements will be made as we continue to plow through the final 2 weeks. But get ready, just get ready to come. There's no excuse. Like I said, scholarships are coming up in the next week. And then there's no excuse not to come. It won't be because Dr. Chanda didn't invite you and give you a scholarship to attend. It's because you decided you didn't want to come. So at that point, I feel that as a contributor to my community, I did my part. I did my part for all of us. I have an open invitation. I have went out and really tried to spread the word. I have done everything that I can to empower us. Now it's time for you to empower yourself. Come and meet your community that is just waiting for you.
Man, I am so looking forward to meeting you in person. I just want to say that this has been a very pleasant first conversation. Uh, we want to learn more in depth, I guess, about your business and the medicines, so we can have those lovely little segments as well. I know they can find you on IG at Women Grow and at Women Grow _leadership, I believe.
Yes, we have IG accounts, but we're on all platforms.
Yeah,
Women
just
Grow at
I
Instagram,
Googled
Facebook,
Women Grow,
LinkedIn.
a list of, and they also womengrow.com as well, where you
Yes,
can.
on our website. And also, I'm available on Instagram, Dr. Chanda Macias. I have another handle, Queen Zulu, Dr. Chanda. And if you need anything for us, we're here for you. We take questions, we answer. You can reach me at Shonda at Women Girl. That's my email address. We want you to succeed, and we will do all things necessary to empower our community. I just need you to come out and see and meet your community because they're here to help you as well.
Man, we can't wait, especially the cooking cannabis segment. I want to meet all those people.
Oh my goodness. Well, when the Food Network's champion of 2017, Charlene Cabay, agreed to do this, I was like, whoa. And then I had a James Beard nominated chef to commit to it. I was like, oh my goodness, we're going somewhere with this. And then the 5-time finalist, Todd Gray, James Beard chef and restaurant owner of Equinox, was like, I'm in. And then it just kept spiraling. Then I had a mixologist, Sean Norris, said, I am known for my cannabis drinks. And
Right.
he threw his hat in the ring. And it just started to grow from there. The pastry chefs, like the catering, cooking and cannabis catering, like all
I'm,
the things.
I'm definitely a foodie, right? And I've been to
We all are.
been to two and really great infused dinners. They were hosted by Infused Supper Club. And one of the chefs, Deborah Elgin, she's Haitian, made, oh my God, her artistry, everything. I'm going to interview her and do one of those cooking segments with her. But I am telling you, I am so excited to really more about that than Griner and Williams. I want
Mm.
them so badly, but I want to eat this food. I myself make edibles, so and I make a mean tincture when I want to. But
That is so interesting because Melt to Make is going to be there and they do commercial gummies. So
yeah,
if you're interested in making your gummies at home, they have the technology. They're there for us. And these are all the things that I want us to understand. There are resources available. I mean, anything that you need to be successful, the mentors are there. The companies are sponsoring. The companies will have exhibit booths for you. There is a career fair, so if you need to be hired in our industry, you have that outlet as well. And then also, we have one dispensary owner that says, I'm throwing in 2 shuttles, so if any of the patients need medicine, we have access for them as well. And I think safe, reliable access is important for our community because, hey, all of us might be a patient one day. We don't know, but you have to have the convenience of healthcare that is safe and that we're not going across state lines. You can get it locally at one of our government approved dispensaries. And I appreciate that. I am for the patient, I'm for the people, and I will continue to make cannabis accessible and a safe access for patients.
oh, that's no doubt, no doubt. I have faith in that. When are you coming to New York?
Oh, well, I have a son that lives in New York.
is it?
So I'm in New York all the time, and it would be nothing but a blessing to be able to go into New York in the market. But I have worked in New York for years. I was a former registered lobbyist there when I helped push the initiative for legalization. So that was really Women Grows work that we did. We went to Emmanuel Baptist Church and had the first cannabis conference there. And we also hosted New York Fashion Week in 2019 there, pushing awareness for cannabis through fashion. So all those efforts have been documented, but we've held Women Grow has educated the community there for well over a decade. And we're just so excited to continue our relationship with New York. So when you say, when you're coming, it's like, when am I not there? That is a place in Crystal Peoples-Stokes. I mean, she's done amazing. All of her legislation, common sense, it was perfect. I have met with her. I have discussed things for the community. Like I said, I am New York, and I am going to continue to be New York, but it's going to be the highest global economy for cannabis, and it needs to have the respect and the nurturing necessary to become what it will become.
Well, I know we are. I know once we legalize, it seemed like I found purpose. I've been telling everyone this. Once we legalize, it dawned on me what I can do. I applied for the micro business license because I want to have complete control of the whole vertical operations. But being able to, for me, I just want to educate people, have this platform to introduce people to people like you, my fans and followers, and they need to see more of this. They need to hear more of the advocacy and activism. It's all the celebrity stuff is fine, all the other entertainment part of it, but there's also a more serious side too. And you definitely bought your A game today. I love it. I gotta say, I appreciate you for coming on today. We will be having continued conversation. You will see us February because, you'll see me February. So we are looking forward to going down there and getting some content and interviewing all these great people, eating some great food, and celebrating your Mardi Gras. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. So
Celebrating us, just celebrating us. We deserve it. And we've been in this fight, this war for a long time, especially our community. We deserve a place where we can go and just be grateful for all we've done and all we're about to do. And Papa Duke, thank you for inviting me here and letting me share my narrative and my story as well. It's an honor to be able to work with my community, to live with my community. And, it's not, it's us that's going to make the change. It's not one single person, it's us. And I thank you for exposing me to you and your community because it's our community. And hopefully one day we won't have to go through the disparities that we're currently that are thrown in our face for being different or having just a color in our skin or having being a female versus a male. It's just not right. But we will live to fight another day, and it's good that we're coming together to reactivate.
appreciate you, Dr. Chanda Macias.
Mhm.
Macias, Dr. Chanda Macias. She is the first African-American woman to have a dispensary in the East Coast of the United States.
The East Coast, we can prove, but definitely I've been coined nationally as well. I'm not big on titles, that's not me, but what I can tell you is that I have been serving patients for over a decade now.
Well, I prefer Queen Zulu. I love that.
I like that too.
And again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Our sponsors for sponsoring Produce 420, New York City Cannabis Exchange here in Queens, New York. And of course, my good friend Michael Fortucci, Green Spectrum's up there at Hopewell Junction. We are going forward 2025, the cannabis industry in New York and throughout the nation is growing for many states. Many people are concerned about federal legalization. Even people that are in the industry don't want it right now because they want to build up their markets first, which makes a lot of sense. But we will have that. In the meantime, we do need we need our representatives to support this industry. They know it's a moneymaker. They know it pays taxes. They don't want to lose that money. So come up with great policies that'll save this industry and make it more competitive. We are definitely on par with the oil industry, many industries, and have come through, at least over the last 2 years in many states. I do want to say thank you all so much for joining Dr. Chanda Macias and I. And I know you're going to have a great day. So remember to relax, relate, and release.
Remember to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can also find us at the OG Social Network Podcast on IG and at the OG Social Network Podcast on LinkedIn. We look forward to seeing you soon. At Green Spectrum's CBD, we're here to inspire and empower, helping you live a happier and healthier life. With high-quality CBD products, we offer a natural path to wellness and relief. Education is key. We're here to share the powerful benefits of cannabinoids with our community. Discover a better way to feel your best with Green Spectrum CBD.